I met him the day of my chasana. He had his second child, and they came from well-to-do homes. I remember at the bris during my Sheva brachas, Rolls Royces came to yeshiva. They both, him and his wife, wanted to go back to the world of nature. They built a log cabin somewhere, who knows where. No water, no electricity. They sat around. All of a sudden they saw a book on Shabbos, something. They want to keep Shabbos. They don't know what to do on Shabbos. So they had got married in the Great Neck Synagogue. I remember Freddie Wolf. I don't know if you remember. Freddie Wolf was the Rav, and as when my Shver was a little kid, he was Makar him. He brought him to Rav Hutna. My Shver always had tremendous Akars Tov to him. So anyway, he calls up this Rabbi Wolf, who was Masan Kedusha only because he says, I want to know about Shabbos. So he gave him my Shvers, so my Shver calls him up, says, come. He comes to the old 1284, that you do remember, 1284 Central Avenue, and he comes in, he sees shtenders and people yelling at each other. And he says, what's going on here? And he's looking around, and here's the Rabbi Freifeld. And okay, everybody sees, takes a seat, and 100 guys screaming, no, you can't sit there. Why not? Said it was the Rashiva's chair. So he jumps up, he's so scared. And all of a sudden, Rabbi Shlomo comes in and says, okay, come tomorrow, I have a study partner for you. He says, okay, comes to a study partner, and he says, I want, learn about Shabbos. My wife and I want to know about Shabbos. And so what nowadays, all the career professionals, what would they do? They'd probably give them 50 books on Shabbos and give him 12 hours straight. He comes the next day, says, I don't know what his English name was then, come and I have a study partner for you now. He starts learning Sh'or Yoshuv. And he starts learning it. What does this got to do with Shabbos? But then he really says, hey, this is really fantastic. It's like the Kotzker Rebbe's Vart. The Kotzker Rebbe used to say, Sh'or Yoshuv. Why is the Sh'or Negech the Parah? Because the Sh'or is a fierce behemoth. It's the Negech Parah. No, because the Torah says Sh'or Yoshuv Parah pays this. So the Torah made the Mitzias. That's the Sh'or. So he says, wow, that happened to me. My neighbor 3 miles down, his bull came and knocked down my fence. And I said he has to pay. So what do you want? My bull did it, not me. And he's learning Sh'or Yoshuv. And he's learning it. And after a few months, he tells my Shver, I'm ready to do Shabbos. Now I'm ready for it. He says, this really helped me. Anyway, he told me a story that his wife was her name was Gitta, but her name was Gail then. So my Shver said, I want you to come to a wedding. See what a Orthodox wedding is. He says, your wife should cover her hair. He says, you have to cover your hair? All right. So she puts on the tichel. She comes to the chasana. She says, Kalman, no one else is covering their hair. Why do I have to be the only one? It was very funny. He says, at the end of the wedding, she sits next to Rebbe Tzifayef and she says, I want my daughter to have such a wedding. And Kachavi, I don't remember children, he has 10 maybe. I just saw his whole family. They made a chasana of a grandchild who learned here. Beautiful, all from such a beautiful, from Sh'or Yoshuv. Naftali, you remember coming, right? Yeah. Fetus is for him. Anyway, let's go back to here. A belly bear, he didn't tell me, he told someone, and the person printed it, that Rabbi Freifeld, that Kalman did this from learning Sh'or Yoshuv. He had questions on Yiddishkeit. It wasn't questions on Yiddishkeit. I want to know what's Shabbos about. And my Shver said, learn first. Have the Talmud Torah. And then he said to him, I don't have no questions. I want to keep Shabbos. Then my Shver got to people learn Shabbos, what Shabbos is. Anyway, so there's 4 mitzvahs, right?